Well, Silicon Valley, of course, we all know, is the Champions League. So if you can make it here, you could really say you can make it anywhere. I'm Gerbert Kunst. I'm the Dutch Consul General in San Francisco, and I'm responsible for the 13 westernmost states in the United States. Of course, main focus economic growth, but as well, of course, providing services to Dutch citizens here in San Francisco and in California and in the 13 states.
Why did the consulate organize the academic startup program?
Academic startups are the true drivers of innovation. The Netherlands is the second most innovative country in the world. All our universities are in the top 200 in the world. And they come forward with all kind of very creative, innovative solutions. You could say Dutch solutions for global society challenges. And I think we can improve our valorization, meaning we can improve to bring these ideas to the market. And I'm very glad that the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy, State Secretary Mona Keizer, and the Dutch Association of Universities came to Silicon Valley and in a second step thought it was a wise thing to do, to create a program for academic startups to bring them to Silicon Valley.
How do these companies differ from regular Dutch startups?
Well, I think they are perhaps more integrated in the world of the academics, meaning they are quite good in explaining the reasoning behind their product and service, and therefore they have a natural sort of liaison with universities like Stanford and Berkeley. And again, I think they are in a way the same as the regular startups because they are all in the early stage of their business.
What are your expectations for the 10 academic startups that visited Silicon Valley?
Well, I have high expectations of these startups. I feel they really come forward with brilliant new suggestions, for example, for knee surgery or for AI helping human behavior. We are here in the consulate, of course, to help these startups. We have now a new colleague in our team, a startup-envoy, and he is quite aware how to set the growth path for a startup. Because you can imagine like an early stage startup has a different need than a mid-stage or a scale-up. And we really like to help every startup, but of course we like to have a focused approach. For example, we have produced startup playbooks for Silicon Valley, for Los Angeles, we'll create one for Seattle, because all these hubs have different kind of ecosystems. And we want to really sort of help the startups in an early stage, for example, by organizing webinars out of the consulate, or when they sort of are partnering in a trade mission, help them with matchmaking.
How does the consulate help Dutch startups? Can you perhaps give a practical example?
What we do, for example, is try to connect Dutch startups to mentors here in Silicon Valley, connect them to our network. We just recently launched Holland in the Valley, and this is a network of Dutch and American entrepreneurs, university, and I would say corporate, more government contacts. And I think it's very important for a startup to really get a good introduction. This is very important. And then the mentoring can be so important for setting next steps for the startups. So the consulate, of course, provides a network, can be helpful for matchmaking, but as well we can introduce you to the right people for getting funding or finding talent, or perhaps getting a better knowledge of the legal and HR details here in the US, because doing business in the United States is quite different from doing business in Europe or in the Netherlands.
What are the business opportunities in San Francisco and Silicon Valley for Dutch companies?
Well, Silicon Valley, of course, we all know, is the Champions League. So if you can make it here, you could really say you can make it anywhere. But then again, I think it can as well be very inspirational to just see how things are working here. Because even if you're not looking for the US market or the Silicon Valley market, you can go back to the Netherlands or Europe and just learn and implement all the lessons you've learned here. And therefore, I think the program we just organized is immersion, and you can sort of develop your own strategy and make it your own journey. But perhaps you come back for an introduction in this US market, and we will be glad to help you out.
What can Dutch startups learn from American entrepreneurs?
I think, first thing, think big. Because we are used to be very modest in a way. We don't have the high numbers when we ask for funding or the high expectations of our product. Secondly, I think sometimes we stick to our thoughts, what would be the best service or product? While at the same time, an American will look to the market and maybe is willing to pivot. And I think for some, at least, I would say academic startups, that's a hard thing to do because they were so very sure about their product and the service. It's hard to come to a new strategy. And in third place, I would say try to behave as a Silicon Valley professional. So be very precise, prepare your pitch. It's your one and only moment to introduce yourself and your company, a little bit like dating. You usually miss an opportunity here. And I think it's important to do the right follow-up. So once you have this first introduction to a VC or to another entrepreneur, please, at the same day, at least, maybe the same hour, send a short email and give you details and express your interest in a follow-up meeting.